Lurkers will be banned. They're not interested, Jyggy. You'll move on. Take the hint. The chat works fine. We just haven't found, we haven't touched them in their soul.
Yeah, you're live. You're live. I see people in the chat saying hello.
It says, Jyggy, unmute your mic.
Wait, what the heck? That whole intro, it was, oh my god. I even said, hi everybody. That explains why none of them posted emotes. That explains why none of them posted emotes, but I definitely think the chat's broken. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Jyggy.
Esteban said your music is still playing.
Yeah, of course my music is still playing.
Oh, okay.
I want
There's
the music to play.
of course.
But how are you? Welcome to the Zeldathon Show. My name is Jyggy. Sorry about any issues that we're running into here. I had to restart the show. My chat's still not working. I'm going to open you up on the damn phone. But how you doing? Welcome to the show. My name is Jyggy. I'm hosting, and I'm here with some awesome people. We'll go through and kind of explain who they are if you don't know who they are. Up to the right, or up to over there. He's over there. That is the Pop-Tart Gamer. How are you, Pop-Tart?
Whoa, I'm good, dude. I got up at 4 p.m., so I've only been up for 2 hours, and I'm ready to talk.
You're ready to talk? Oh, I'm so excited. I really am. Below me, a Canadian superhero, they tell me.
Below.
OMG, it's Monica.
Howdy.
How are you, Monica? I still can't find Super MC Gamer.
I'm good.
Oh my gosh.
It's nice to hang out, chat with people.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
It's nice to see everyone in chat, too. Aww.
I can't see anyone in chat right now. You see me scrolling on my phone on the Twitch?
What do you...
Anyway,
that is my super power.
Diagonal from
Jyggy, is that a TI-92 you're using to look at the chat?
T92. No,
Is that a graphing calculator?
It's a Samsung Galaxy Flip or whatever the heck. Down below me, over here down this way, across from me, I heard that he squeezes boxes.
Down this.
Jackson Parodi. I still can't see chat. How are you, Jackson?
I can't.
Don't worry about the
calculator.
chat. They'll be fine. They'll be fine, Jyggy. Just worry about us.
I really love chat. All right, I can see chat now.
Oh my god.
We're good. I'm done. But how are you guys? Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about some different stuff going on here. We got.
It's going to be a long show.
No, it's not going to be a long show. We got this. I already did this. But yes. So wait, I should be good. Yeah. But yeah, welcome everybody to the Zeldathon Show. My name is Jyggy. We have all these people here. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. There is a questions. If you have questions for us through the actual show, there's ! Ask in the chat, and ask us anything you want. It could be something that something good, something bad, whatever. Any questions you want. Today I thought we would kind of hone in a little bit and talk about events at Zeldathon. Events that don't have to usually do with Zelda. They might have Zelda involved, but in reality, a lot of the times they don't involve Zelda, nor do they is Zelda being played during them. Something really neat about Zeldathon is the showmanship that goes on, and the skits and everything like that. And as somebody who puts on some of these events at every marathon, as many marathons as I possibly can, I really thought that it'd be fun to talk about here. So why don't we jump on into that and kind of just discuss why we kind of do them. So the reason why I started doing events at Zeldathon was because I really wanted to bring something different that wasn't just playing a video game. I have a theater background. I have a film background. I like playing video games and I like streaming those. But in reality, for me, it's all about that. It's all about that little bit of showmanship and a little bit of story. And whether the story be wrestling or a man drinking a smoothie or a survivor that doesn't happen ever or anything like that, at Zeldathon, I love the fact that we have that opportunity to bring you guys something that's maybe a little bit different and more tailored towards the people who've been watching forever. So why don't...
No, I know. I don't. I think it's the opposite. What we do is targeted towards people who are seeing for the first time, so we can shock their sensibilities. Folks who've been watching us for a long time, they know what to expect. They know to expect Eric covering himself with sauerkraut or falling and slipping on the floor or throwing a Minions mug on the ground and breaking it like a hand grenade. They expect to see Monica, with some gaudy like Marvel Universe tights or leggings or exposing her midriff. They know to expect all that. But we want to shock the new viewers and win their hearts and minds, Jyggy.
It is true. It is very, very true, Jackson. It's always I always hear from a lot of people that they come because they hear they're playing Zelda, they're doing it for charity, and then they come and watch ZCW and you slamming down on a freaking table, and they're like, all right, yeah, I'll stay. I'll stay. I'll watch. But yeah, no, I thought maybe we would just do a little introduction here, and just ask you guys a little simple question here. All four of us have been a part of the Zeldathon team for a long time now. Maybe not a long time, but longer than some people. We've all been to a lot of different marathons and to stuff like that. So I thought it'd be fun to ask. The question is, what is a nice fond memory from your first ever event? So why don't we start with Eric?
So my first marathon was Zeldathon Adventure, and that was all the way back now in summer of 2014. So it's almost been 6 years of attending. And like that marathon, I was like super quiet. If you remember Zeldathon Adventure, I was so nervous and like anxious about everything, and like I had been watching these people for like a few years at this point, but not everybody knew who I was in the community yet. So a lot of my good experiences happened off camera, because when I was on camera, I was sitting there with like a plush, and I would just sit there and like just watch like I was at home and not really say much. There were a lot of good moments. Like I did have a run that marathon, because that's when they introduced the adventure system, and you could unlock a bonus day, and there was a bunch of random games that they did, like the Sonic Lost World level, and can't remember what else they did, honestly, but one of them was me saying, hey, I can do the speed run for Link's Awakening DX. Not very well, but I can do it. And there's like a high likelihood that I'll fail, because it's really hard at the end. Because you have 3 hearts, you got to fight the boss, and jump and dodge all this stuff, and it's really easy to like get hit once and die. But like I pulled it off in 10 minutes somehow. And I still don't know how. I think, if I'm correct, every marathon after that, I started playing Link's Awakening as like main runner for a while. And usually every marathon I'd offer the incentive of doing the speed run, since it is only like 5 to 10 minutes. And every marathon after that, I failed. So that was the only marathon where I actually successfully pulled it off. So like shout outs to Zeldathon Adventure for at least giving me that. And I don't know, a bunch of other stuff. Like covering my bed with snacks with Chaco, and we slept in the snacks every day. And then if you woke up in the middle of the night, you would just eat one of the snacks on the bed. Stuff like that, I guess.
That's bonding.
Yeah, that's like
it is bonding.
That's a good story there, Eric.
So Chaco and I got to know each other.
Aw, snacks are important. Also, Doug, on behalf of MC, thank you for 21 months. We see you.
I see Twitch on the iPhone doesn't tell me who subs.
Yeah. Excuse you?
Wait, it does? What? Is my chat broken on the iPhone too? What the heck, man? Okay, chat, I love you, but I just apparently Twitch doesn't want me to read you while I do this. Anyway, so why don't we go over to Monica? Monica, I know you're actually a little bit sooner than Eric as your first event, but I'm sure you had some fun story to tell us.
Honestly, my first marathon, I think, was Response, and I signed up to just a ton of events because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just wanted to stay busy and help however I could. And then I think the first one that I was helping out and doing music for was, I think it was Deal or No Deal, and it was both Dan and I just goofing around on violins. And like, this is before I knew to expect it, but Dan pulled out the vuvuzela during, and like just screamed into it, and that was my first experience with the vuvuzela there in real life, and like I lost it. Like I couldn't keep playing violin. I think I was just laugh crying into my lap for a lot of that. But yeah, definitely a fun memory. Like anytime the vuvuzela is busted out, it's a fun memory.
Jackson, now that you were you the same as Eric, or were you before? No, you were before that, weren't you?
My first marathon was Zeldathon St. Jude, which was the winter of 2013. It was fun. That event was the first time I think the only time I've ever rented a car. I rented this Fiat 500, which is like a 2-seat. It's like a Hot Wheels car, but you need a license to drive it. So that was an experience on its own. But actually, at the event, it was a great time. I remember fondly, like, just walking in. It's probably on stream because I arrived like on the few days after the stream started, I believe. And the ovation I received from everybody it really made me feel great. Everybody, like, they knew who I was, or at least like knew my name. And so I just walked in. They were just like clapping me and saying hello, and that made me feel really great. But a standout event was I think I may have almost shut down the whole event when I plugged in my space heater in the attic. If y'all remember, the attic of the old venue, that was kind of like the dumping ground for the have-nots who didn't have like a bed space or like a mattress to sleep on. If you're one of the the unwashed, you just go up to the attic, you find your spot, and those are your quarters. So that was my situation. But thankfully, MC had a handful of space heaters around to keep us warm during the winter, and it was frigid. And I remember I crawled into my little corner, plugged up that space heater, and then about a second later I heard a pop, and then a lot of things went off, and then I heard a lot of people go downstairs in the stream area. So what it turns out is that I think I blew the power in like half the house, but thankfully not the half that was doing the streaming. So no permanent damage, no serious harm, but an exciting time.
And with a bang.
So my first Zeldathon was Zeldathon Relief. I think, was it Relief?
Relief.
Yeah, it was Relief.
Yeah.
It was one after Eric, I think, right?
It was.
Yep.
And there's a whole story behind that that I'm not going to get into about reasons. But if you watch the documentary, I think it's in it. But one of my fondest memories from that event was like, I think it was my last night that I was going to be at Zeldathon, and I was on Tech Station watching the stream at like, oh my god, I think it was like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and on it was Eric, Chaco, and I think TB playing Twilight Princess, because the runner at the time had to like randomly leave. And they just left the event. And so it was Chaco, Eric, and TB, I think, playing Twilight Princess, and none of them really knew what they were doing. And
that was all my fault.
and so it was me on Tech Station at like 5 in the morning, and I was falling asleep, and I was watching these guys struggle. I think it was on like the water temple. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, I leave in like 6 hours. I don't want to go to bed, but I'm dying. this is what I want to keep doing with my life. And so that was the kind of like the moment, you know, one of my favorite memories of the reason why I kept coming back and all that was because there was this dumb moment where I was on Tech Station and watching these guys struggle at Zeldathon. I was finally there, you know. That was my little thing.
I'm glad somebody enjoyed that because for me it was the worst.
But why don't we talk about events and you know, we've talked about a little bit about this before, but why don't we hop into it here? One of the biggest and most looked forward to event at Zeldathon, something that people look forward to, something that the team looks forward to, something that I look forward to, something that literally everybody in the chat knows about, and Jackson kind of birthed this a few marathons back. ZCW, ZCW, Zeldathon Championship Wrestling. So Jackson, tell me why. Why?
Why? Because I'm a wrestling fan, and every wrestling fan wants to be a wrestler. And Zeldathon was the perfect supply of free, enthusiastic labor and an event to broadcast it on, and that was the perfect storm for a dummy like me.
So when you started coming up with the idea, hey, we're gonna do a wrestling tournament. Who was the first? Do you remember this? Who was the first person you went to and said, hey, will you wrestle with us or will you wrestle me? Do you remember that or?
I don't remember. It might have been. I would think it would be either Eric or Dan.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I probably had in mind at least one of those two.
What was the concept, if you remember? Like, what was the concept going in besides just we want to wrestle? Like, did you know any of the characters? Did you come up with any of the characters, or did you like throw them at people, or?
No. That was the concept was I want to wrestle. That was the beginning and the end. That was the whole concept. But you know what? I'm glad, and even later on when we did the battle royals with all the different people and the characters, I didn't want to really have that much input on that. Because I wanted to let the folks do their own creative work and make their own characters, and maybe if I can offer help here or there, maybe that. But I didn't want it to be like me telling people what they are, what they're doing. I wanted to give just the basic outline of the format, and then let people let their imaginations run wild, and run wild they did, and I was very fortunate.
So I
thought to do that.
Ask Eric this. Eric, you were a very, very significant role in this whole ZCW thing. Massive character arc, story, drama. Can you and
saga?
Can you and Jackson kind of talk a little bit about like the planning of that? I know it's weird to go behind the scenes here, but
I don't know anything about wrestling like Jackson does. All right, I've never watched it as a kid or anything, but I was just like, you know what, this sounds like fun. And even though I didn't watch wrestling, I wanted to be a wrestler. All of a sudden, so I didn't know what I was gonna do. There was no planning. I was just told like, hey, we're gonna do the main match against one another. I didn't have a planned out character, but that was luckily the marathon that Billy was born. So I was able to just use him, and then because it was right after Late Night happened, so everybody knew who he was. It was established in people's minds, and then he came back, and I was like, oh my god, he's wrestling now. Like, what else can he do? And yeah, we had a little bit of planning going into it of the series of events. It was all just improv, except for the last bits where Jackson fell on the table and everything like that, and I won. And then I didn't come back. Oh, I came back the next marathon for revenge or something like that, but I didn't want to be in it anymore because a little side fact here, a little behind the scenes.
Because I beat you up. That's why.
Okay. I'm holding up the champion's belt. And it's a real belt made out of leather, and the latch is metal, and I whipped it in the air, and the metal part smacked the back of my head super hard, and then for the next 2 hours I felt really just out of it and winded. So I'm maybe I shouldn't do this anymore.
I made a point with I remember making a point with both Eric and Dan and probably most other people is that. Which is kind of a slughead way to think. I wanted to make it real, so I'm like, if we're gonna hit each other, let's make it real. Like, let's hit each other for real, not in a dangerous way, but in a stiff way. We're not punching each other in the head. That's true. But what we were doing was what's called chops in wrestling, where we're slapping the chest. And I think, and it's happened with both Eric and Dan. I think maybe like at first they didn't really. I don't think you guys really understood like what I meant by hard.
No.
So so I would say give me a chop, of course, because when I mean stiff, everything goes both ways. It's not like I'm gonna beat up you but you can't beat up me. I take it. Will it take at least as much punishment as the next guy? So I think I had Eric chop me, and it was like play fighting with your 5-year-old. Like he was doing it in a fun, playful way. But that didn't work with me. And I think you can watch it on the replay of when I gave Eric that chop. Like his face like blue screened to death. He like rebooted. It was like like he didn't understand it. But then after that, then he got it, and then he gave it back to me. And Dan even more so, because I think we had our shirts off. But every now and again, like you need to have that visceral, primal indication of how hard somebody wants you to be with them, and you can't just say, "Oh yeah, hit me hard." Like, what does that mean? You really got to give it to them, and then they'll say, "Oh, Jackson wants me to do this. Okay, here you go, bang," and then our chest turned to ground beef.
So
the Fight Club one. I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Absolutely. It's only slapping your chest. No one's going to die because they're getting slapped in the chest. Charlie horse on your breastbone. But
one of the very, very significant moments at ZCW was the table. And so I have to ask, because I know that there are people that will get mad at me if I don't. Jackson, why? Again, that's the second time I've said it today. Why? Where in your mind did you say, let's do the table for real? Because if some people don't realize that was for real.
To make a statement, like there's no bigger statement than that. That's iconic.
Why not? Well, okay. Well, no, I'm sorry. Now, Jyggy, please don't take this as me trying to be a snarky. But why not?
I mean, you're right. I just didn't know what was the process.
Why not?
In your mind, where you just decided let's break a table.
Okay. Well, I'll expand. The breaking of the table has been a classic trope in wrestling for like 30 years. It's and wherever you go in America and in Japan and Mexico, like breaking tables it's almost a cliche at this point. And so I figure I'm not better than anybody else. I've never gone through a table. Let's make it happen. And the only part I didn't like about it was that I had to pay for the table. That was like a $35 Walmart table. It was the cheapest thing ever, and the hinge where I went through was like. It was like a Duplo toy. It was there. There was not a lot. It was soft. I'll put it that way.
So I want to bring it back to everybody who's watching here on Twitch. If you have any questions, ! Ask in the chat and send us your questions. We will answer them at the end of the stream. Why don't we move on to my child.
Well, Jyggy, no, I'm sorry. Wait, one more thing. I also want to. Just one more last thing about the chair, the table thing is that I wanted to pay homage. There's I saw a really cool wrestling spot in a California independent production or company called Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and they would sometimes do the thing where the guy dumps out the bag of Legos and then slams the other guy in the Legos, and it's like, oh my god. So I wanted to do the same thing, but we went to Walmart and I got the big bag of the blocks for like 1-year-olds are like this big, the big old blocks.
Duplo.
Yeah, they're these huge blocks, and so I really wanted to do that. So again, all that was paid for by me, but I really wanted to do that.
Well, thank you.
So, I'm sorry, Jyggy, sorry to interrupt you.
Thank you for once again bringing the fun ZCW stuff to Zeldathon, whether it be the actual events or the rumbles or anything like that. It's always a fun show to watch, and I think a lot of people really enjoy it.
I can't thank enough the people who actually do it. Like all the performers who come and they put on their costumes and they have their characters. They're the real heroes. I'm serious. They're the real stars, and I can't be grateful enough for their artistry and their enthusiasm and their dedication to making those events as fun as they are. It's all for them. It's not really me.
It's so fun, honestly, to see the behind the scenes, and like you have the meeting and you see everyone show up in their costumes beforehand, and then at that point I always hurry to get back to my room because I love watching it happen on the stream, and then just being able to talk with people in the chat while it's happening too. And then like honestly just seeing you guys all toe the line and make MC a little more nervous every single time. But I think that's something that a lot of us started adapting into events too, is how can we make MC a little more nervous each time?
You're
That's
right,
a
Monica.
mood.
But then you know what he did? MC did one better on us by having that horrible.
plates.
I think the worst event in Zeldathon history. I think the worst is him and Dan with the
The
glassware.
talk show.
Who's
Wait,
okay?
Jackson,
I'm sorry. I don't want to get off track.
No, I'm on this now. You think that one's worse than Super Kool-Aid? Because
That's worse. That's worse than the grilled cheese. That's worse than Potion Shop. That's worse than Super Kool-Aid. That's okay. Hold on. Just because it's the worst doesn't mean I don't like it. I love the event, but it is the worst. It is the worst event ever. and I like it, and I want to see more of it, but it's awful. It's trash. I think no, it's not trash. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Schlocky is the word. I don't know what I'm looking for, but it's a great event, and I love it, but it's also the worst.
That's fair, you know.
He came to me and said he may want to film far back for this one.
Oh,
But yeah, so I mean, we just mentioned a few other events that happened at Zeldathon, and I've had my fair share of events that I've started at Zeldathon. And Jackson brought up one, kind of the origins of me doing actually the same marathon. Late Night with Jyggy was born. That was I think Zeldathon Recovery. I told MC that we're going to do a grilled cheese competition, and that
Mistake.
was that was it. And no, you can actually
mistake.
watch the video of this grilled cheese competition. It's still up on YouTube. It is by far one of the biggest disasters in my mind because it lasted like 3.5 hours. It lasted so long, and people, I forget who was playing that video game at the time, because if you don't know, guys,
It was K. It was Hyrule Warriors.
If you don't,
Yeah.
to give you guys a little bit of a
The
history
best
here,
sport.
if you're new to Zeldathon or you don't know, originally events at Zeldathon happened during video games. Whenever there was music, or there was Deal or No Deal, or there was the what's it called, the Super Kool-Aid, that happened during an event. That would happen during a game. We didn't have that luxury of being able to have our own time like a lot of like ZCW, Jam Train, Late Night with Jyggy, all that stuff do now. Back then, it was because there was even Jam Train during a game. Like it happened. So this grilled cheese competition happened, and it was like 3.5 hours on the stream during K's run, and it was a disaster. That same marathon, though, was the origin of, I told MC, I'm going to do a late night show, a late night parody of Jimmy Fallon called Late Night with Jyggy. And I'm going to interview you, TB, and I think I said one of the, at the time it was Direct Relief that we were doing because of recovery. So yeah, it was Direct Relief. And so I started doing Late Night with Jyggy. I think Late Night with Jyggy had 2 that happened during games. I think it was two. I've done Late Night with Jyggy I think 5 times now, maybe 6. I don't remember. But the original Late Night with Jyggy, the first one, or maybe it was only 4. I don't know. They all met together, like Jackson said earlier on. I started Late Night with Jyggy back at Zeldathon Recovery, and I remember that I told Number One Alex was with us, and I said, Number One Alex, can you do like a intro for me? And he did like, it was him and Zach Teep that did little intro. It was like, coming at you from Challenge Cam, it's Late Night with Jyggy. And I told this story of I was on a train. This is my monologue. I was on a train, and I saw this old man who looked like Great Scott LP. And I made this garbage joke calling him Great Scott Old P. And it was...
I remember
awful.
this.
It was terrible. But that was how Late Night with Jyggy started, and it slowly went on to the point where I was asked to do it again. Bring in new people, and it was really a show about me. And I think it was a few marathons in. I think it was Zeldathon Cures, where I said to MC, I'm really tired of. I'm not tired of doing Late Night with Jyggy. I like Late Night with Jyggy. It's my favorite thing that I do in my life, more or less. But I really am tired of it just being my show, and I feel bad about it being my show. And I want to include more than just the 2 or 3 people that I have in Jackson and his band. So it was one of those things where I started doing other events like the Jygolympic Games. I did the Jygacademy Awards.
The awards.
I did what was there was another one. The Telejig. And yeah, it's one of those things where I slowly, my only goal was to prove to MC, and you guys don't know how much I respect MC Gamer. I I've been following him since like I was young, probably during the Minecraft games. But my entire goal with Late Night with Jyggy originally was just to impress Super MC Gamer, to explain to him that I am capable of entertaining. And so it was this massive thing where I really wanted to move Late Night with Jyggy because I love the show, but I wanted to move it from being Late Night with Jyggy show, where he makes fun of parodies and stuff, to kind of something that everybody would look forward to, kind of like ZCW and kind of like the Jam Train, and where it includes a lot of different people. And the first one we did was, I think it was Zeldathon Cures, where I it kind of did what Late Night TV did, and I split it up into segments. Eric was on was Zelda Draw. Yeah, Zelda Draw.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Jackson and the band would play, of course. And we had all of these different segments. Potion Shop Challenge, Jackson mentioned before. And it was just...
What a success.
No
Potion
good.
Shop Challenge 1 was a success, because Jamie and Maria realized that this was comedy. You were supposed to do this live, on the stream. And but it was one of those things where I really, when I go into these things and when I go into planning and when I talk about all the stuff, this is months and months in advance. And it's different for every single event. I'm sure that everybody here can say, I did an event that I planned in 20 minutes and I did an event that I planned in 2 months. I think all of you guys can say that, So it's interesting to see how that comes about. I mean, even the Jygolympic Games, I'll be real with you guys. That one, I think I planned like a week before the entire thing. And we just had fun with it, But then Late Night with Jyggy, I planned 2 months in advance. And the Telejig, I spent 6 months in advance, and you can argue is the most well done or the worst one. So it's interesting,
I'm so PO that the Telejig happened, but they didn't do what I did. They didn't take my suggestion and have live interviews with the big whale donors.
Yeah, we had
have some courage. I did that a couple times, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. It has a huge buy-in, like $100 buy-in, and then we'll talk to you. Someone will talk to you live on the air, live interview.
And yeah, I think that's something that if we ever do it again, I'm very interested in bringing. We had people talk on the phone, and that was something that I really enjoyed having.
Instead, poor Kay had some creeper on the line. She can't hang up. Or
Eric, you did the phone, right? You did the phone during the Telejig?
I did the phone a bunch before my segment came up. I did the phone the whole time for a good bit, and nobody was really calling in. So before flying was like an attendee at that point. He called in, and you were supposed to talk to people for 5 minutes, 5 minutes, right?
That's what I said.
And I was like, it's so bare in here that flying, I don't care if you stay in here for the next hour. Please just talk to me over this stupid plastic phone where I can barely hear anything.
The audio quality was terrible on them. It was great. I remember they were like headphone jacks, and I was like, people said, "Oh, can I borrow your can I borrow your laptop so then you can talk on Discord? And people kept coming to me like, yeah, you can borrow my laptop. And it didn't have a headphone jack on it. It didn't have the headphone jack. And so I was like, oh, we can't use your laptop. So it ended up being like this massive old laptop that was in like the middle of the table that people were talking into. It was great. But no, late night with Jyggy and the telejig and all that stuff. I've slowly moved to really just wanting to involve people. You know, I want to have a segment where I have Eric. I want to have a segment where I have Clink cooking in a microwave on Challenge Cam. I want to have like different people involved because it's just more fun, and I think it's more fun for you guys.
You want to have a segment of you singing the song from Shrek the Musical. You want that?
Me, that was you.
I want that.
That was something like
Me too.
People don't realize this, that the only reason why I did the Thanos thing was because of the fact that if you all don't know, like Jackson said, a lot of the events are funded by us. We're funded by us. We take anything that we need. And Late Night with Jyggy has a lot of extra stuff that we have to buy. And I am not a wealthy man. We all know that. So during on an event, a prior event to Zeldathon on my stream, I asked for budget help, you know? So what I did was one of the budget goals, one of the budget goals was to make it to I would dress up like Thanos during Late Night with Jyggy. And so thank goodness Yonka had the purple
Yonka?
It's not Yonka.
No.
Oh my god.
Yonka.
What? Yonkai? Oh my god. Yonky.
Yonky.
It's not Yonky. I know that. No, this is for Spotify. I'm sorry. I suck. I'm sorry.
Who's
I'm
Yonky?
sorry. All right. It's awful. I'm terrible. Hipster's probably mad. Everyone's mad. Anyway, we had purple face paint, and I got the Thanos glove from Amazon. I'm so sorry. She's gonna be so mad at me.
No, you didn't turn into Thanos. You turned into
It
Grimace
really
from
was
McDonald's.
Grimace. And so anyway, going forward because I don't want to stay here too long. I'm trying to run away here. We did basically that was, I think it was the night before Jackson. We were playing. Jackson was just playing piano in the chill room, and Jackson started playing "Who I Be" from Shrek. And if you all know, I have done Shrek. I've played Shrek, and I know the music. And then Jackson tells me, what was it, like 20 minutes before the event? No, I think it was like maybe 10 minutes before, like the actual entire Late Night with Jyggy. You're like, you know what we're doing at the end, right? And I was like, oh no. And it's funny because I actually forgot the words and everything, but luckily Scootish was there and he knew the lyrics too. But anyway, Late Night with Jyggy and all that is something that I love, and it's I think I love the fact that MC allowed me to do it, you know, and he allowed.
Well, Jyggy, you do a great job, and your enthusiasm is felt by everyone else around you, and it's a wonderfully fun event for all.
It's true.
And no, I'm just happy that people enjoy it. I'm sorry, what, Monica?
I was gonna say, like, it's one of the main events that involves the most team members, which is super fun because, like, anytime there's new team members, you're trying to figure out, like, how can you get involved. It's like an easy one that, like, brings everyone together essentially.
Yeah, no, and I
Oh, man, it's
enjoy
great.
that. I enjoy that. That's part of it. So we talked about ZCW.
Legitimately crying.
Why are you crying? Because of me? I cry. I'm crying, honestly.
She's crying about Yinka. About Yinky.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so we talked about ZCW. We talked about my events. But the thing is there's so many other little events. There's so many other little or not even little events. There's a lot of big events too that happen throughout the marathon that you guys are involved with, I'm involved with, and other people do things. So, Eric, why don't you talk a little about one of my favorites that you've done, which is your partner in crime is not here, Brooke, but kind of talk a little bit about Dr. Professor Dad.
Yes, yes, that's the best Zeldathon event.
Hey, here we go.
Eric,
So-
Go for it, Eric.
You know, okay, so the number one thing that's been discussed here that I've seen, like the number one consistent thing, and I feel like throughout this whole thing, even when Monica speaks about her stuff, is that everybody has planned for their events, like, and had meetings. I don't think I've ever had a meeting for any event I've ever run or done. And I just want to put that out there. And even right now, like, I'm unplanned because Jyggy has this whole document and everybody's labeled with what they're doing. But for mine, it just says Eric. So, like, what I'm talking about, I don't know. But yeah, so Dr. Professor Dad was a goals that, like, became a thing. Zeldathon Deluxe, which was summer of 2015. And the story behind it was that it was like NK's, myself, and Brooke, and maybe Chaco or something like that. We all went to Walmart real quick. And since it was a summer marathon, July 4th was coming up in the States. So they had all those, like, Independence Day shirts, you know, like, oh my God, kiss the cook, or I'm American, or whatever. But one of them was like number one dad, and we are like, oh, I should, like, buy that and wear it for stream or whatever. Wouldn't that be funny? You know, haha XD. So, like, I buy the shirt and I buy the smallest size possible. And it's like super skin tight on my body. But, like, we came back and we're, like, laughing about it on the way back to the like marathon. And I'm like, I throw on the shirt, I, like, tuck it into my shorts, I pull up my shorts, and I'm like, pull up my socks and everything. I got a fake mustache, and I, like, open the stream door, and MC is, like, on tech, and he just starts laughing, and he's like, get on camera right now. So I go on camera and I just stand there like this, like, it's not knowing what to do because I haven't thought about anything else. But, like, people for some reason loved it and just started dubbing me under the name Dad. Like, the whole marathon. Anytime I went on camera after that point, because that was really early on into that marathon, it was always Dad, 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 Dad. I even won the number one Dad award at the end. And then from there, every marathon I would go on, every time I go on camera, there's people call me Dad again. And Brooke and I were like, what if we spin this and, like, take it somewhere? So it was like 4 in the morning, and we were just like, let's do a goal. And I kind of started calling myself Dr. Professor Dad thanks to, like, this one YouTube video online that I was doing the voice for at the time. Or not I didn't do the voiceover, but I was imitating it, I should say. And so we created Dr. Professor Dad, that's what we labeled it, and Brooke was my assistant, Jelly Jiggler. That was the only thing that we came up with. We went to Walmart at 4 in the morning, we bought a bunch of supplies, and we kind of had a little bit of a story that we came up with, is that we're in the science community, we're here to show people science experiments, but the goal is to make it horrible and messy and not look like we know what we're doing. So that's exactly what we did. We did 3 different children's science experiments, and it was great. I, like, jumped into the, like, big pile of, like, vinegar and baking soda and, like, food coloring that was on the table, and, like, swam in it, and, like, Jackson's in the background playing his accordion. It was brilliant. And people loved it. It was just, like, something that we just, like, randomly did. We just put, like, hey, if you raise, like, $200, $250, like, we'll put this on. And we did it, and it was great. And so we brought it back again, and we did the food show, and that one was extreme. We, like, really, like, just cranked it up, but just like last time, we had no planning. So we just went to Walmart, bought a bunch of food supplies that we saw, and we're like, oh, that would be interesting if we did this. We're like, what if we try to make a pizza? What if we make meat fidget spinners? What if we cover ourselves in flour? What if I put this melon on my head? So we kind of did that. And then you have all the supplies in front of you, and you had to just kind of make it up as you go. It's all improv. Everything Brooke and I have ever done is improv with Dr. Professor Dad.
And we wouldn't want it any other way. That's
No,
how it
true.
should be.
It would be the same.
Exactly. if I would have planned this out, if it would have been scripted in any way, it would just wouldn't be genuine, and like people would be able to tell. And my favorite part of Dr. Professor Dad is like Brooke and I are always having fun every time we do it. Like when we're laughing and we're falling and we're just like doing whatever, that's genuine. A lot of the time I break down because I can't stay in character because it's so ridiculous like what's happening in the moment that you just kind of have to embrace it and just roll with it, and it's so much fun.
I'm sure it's really hard to stay in character when you're eating sauerkraut and drinking full of vinegar.
Oh yeah,
The vinegar too. People were saying that was fake, and you came into, I think it was chill room after,
Mhm.
and I didn't see the stream. I had no idea what happened, and I just asked you, I'm like, why do you smell like vinegar? Like, I'm sorry, you smell like
Wait, do
vinegar
people
right now.
actually?
Yeah, I drank
People
that.
actually think that it's fake?
I drank it.
The Late Night with Jyggy was before you
Yeah, they said
launched a
water.
rocket with it.
They thought like I like had the cap closed on it when I like
Oh.
went like this. But even both the time that we did it on the actual Dr. Professor Dad last marathon and at the end of the marathon where everybody was just kind of pulling into like different goals and stuff at once, like super quickly, I like did the vinegar thing again, and that time I also drank it. And then we did the award ceremony, and the whole award ceremony, my face felt feverish, and I was like, I'm dying. I think I'm gonna die from drinking this vinegar. So everything we do is real. There's nothing that we really fake. Like when I break the minion mug, like Jackson mentioned, um, like that's real. People could have got hurt. Luckily they didn't. I still feel horrible about it. That's like
I'm so mad though. I'm so mad, regardless of whether it should have happened or shouldn't. I'm so mad that it wasn't caught on camera.
yeah.
Like there was no camera there to catch the shot of that thing breaking and sounding like a hand grenade going off. It was really loud. It's like, oh, something bad happened. That mug was not like some like precious, ornament. It was like it's like a real mug. It's supposed to withstand, some rough handling. But man, you launched that
What
thing.
was the?
It was
What was the
something
one that
else.
you had
It was like a
the-
claymore mine.
That you had the microwave with, Eric.
We had the microwave show. That was because so Brooke and I have had like we've done it so many times now that at that point, because we after this the food one we did like one at Aoats with pumpkins, and we did another one after that I think, and then we were just like, okay, we need to stop covering ourselves in food. We need to take a break. Like it's just like you can only do it so many times, and then it starts to like lose its effect a little bit. So we were like, let's take a break. So what? That like MC wanted us to do something. So we're like, okay, let's do a microwave show where we try to like blow up stuff in the microwave. That's safe, right? But like we were trying to look stuff up of like what would be kind of like safe to do, and like grapes explode in the microwave, but you had to cut them, and we didn't know that. Nobody told us. So like a lot of that event like fell apart. That was probably the like it was a lot of fun, but that one like nothing went to plan. Like that one had a little bit of a plan to it, and none of it worked. And that's when the minion mug smashed. Like I bought the minion mug that microwave show because I was like, this is the backup if everything starts falling apart. I will just smash this mug. Get ready for it, Brooke. Like it's coming in. And I almost hit him.
What you and Brooke did when you tried the microwave thing was like when Michael Jordan tried to play baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
If you remember that.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, honestly, because it just didn't work out. But then we went back to it eventually, and I think this last marathon is the last one we'll do that I'm aware of for now. We might bring it back, but I'm kind of just trying to like. I don't like locking myself into one thing. That's all the fun. I like to just like do a bunch of random stuff with like Billy and Willie.
Well, that was what I
and-
was gonna.
and the dad
I was
stuff.
gonna move into here. I mean, I wouldn't want to have you on the show here and not ask you about your characters that you bring in, not only to one event but multiple events across the entire, Zeldathon, whether it be ZZW's, Late Night with Jyggy, all that stuff. So, I mean, I just kind of wanted to ask you. I know a lot of them, most of them, you just come up with on the fly. But like, is there any that you have that are just you have favorites, or what was the origin of some of your ideas?
My favorite is Smoothie Guy. Everybody hates Smoothie Guy. Nobody like 1% of Zeldathon knows about Smoothie Guy, and Smoothie Guy was Zeldathon Deluxe. It was Zeldathon
Which
Survivor
never
was
was never
happening.
went out.
It would have never the video never went out because the footage was just like inconsistent and it just didn't work out. But during the whole Survivor thing, anytime they filmed anything like outside the stream for like the challenges and stuff, I would be wearing a Hawaiian shirt and I'd be drinking a smoothie from Sheets and I just try to stand in the background of as many shots as possible. And that was Smoothie Guy. I even had an interview for Survivor that Chaco did, and then like MC interviewed me in like 2017 during AOTs because we went back to that hotel one last time. But yeah, I don't know. I've done Mike Wazowski, which was the most painful one, I think. It was good in concept because like the bin with the eye on it was like me just trying to come up with something last second.
Hmm.
But like when I was in the bin, I couldn't hear anybody, and it was really hard to talk because I had to basically scream. So I was just awkwardly sitting on couch for an hour inside a bin, and my back was dying. And I thought it was gonna be a 5-minute bit, but we ended up on couch for like an hour. So Billy and Willie and I don't know if there's been any other late night with Jyggy characters, have been Jyggy coming to me like a few weeks before Zeldathon going, hey, can you be a zookeeper? Hey, can you be an astronaut?
It's funny.
Yeah, sure, what am I doing? Oh, I don't know, just make it up. Do I have a name? No. Do I have anything? Yeah, I bought you an outfit, but that's it. Good luck.
See, I know though I can rely on you, Eric. I just have to get you an outfit and you'll go with it. You know, it's just that's how it is.
It's
to be
true.
a new character. Anyway. Oh yeah. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, yeah, those characters are like, and like the doing events is like what really got me involved with Zeldathon. Cause like the first 2 marathons I went to, like I said, I was super quiet and I didn't know what to do. But having Dad and the characters and Dr. Professor Dad and all the other events I've been a part of have really just like helped me open up and like figure out who I am and like what I can like provide to the stream and help out with and stuff. So it's been cool. It's been super
cool having you in so many events, and I always know I can go to you for all that. Any kind of situation that I'm in, any kind of shenanigans we want to pull. So thank you, Eric. Guys, if you're once again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Zeldathon Show. If you have any questions, do ! Ask in the chat. Ask us anything you want. We will do Q&A here in a bit. And why don't we move on to one of the big ones, the big kahuna, the one that kind of started it all, as in like one-offs. The Jam Train. The Jam Train. I know Monica does a lot with the planning and production of that, and of course Jackson is here. So why don't we talk a little bit, Monica, if you want to start us off there with your experience with the Jam Train, and what do you think about it? Yeah.
Honestly, it's one of the most fun things because it's just a bunch of us jamming out on random tunes that people want to hear, like, and if we know them, we can go for it. And then every now and then there's like Jackson will even pick. So how it works is Jackson has a foot pedal that goes through the list and it highlights a certain one. So then we all know that's the one we're going to do. And then we all hop onto the same key or same page and kind of get there in a roundabout sort of way through different transitions sometimes. And I don't know, it's just vibing. It's a really good time. I think one of my favorite parts for the Jam Train is we always come up with like a dumb bit before, and that's, I don't know, just one of my favorite things by all, like, definitely hands down.
Yeah. No, the Jam Train is something that I know people look forward to every single marathon. And so, Jackson, why don't you tell us a little bit about how it started and how you convinced MC to really let you do it, you know?
I don't think I convinced anyone of anything. I think I just did the thing, and MC saw it and probably liked it. I have to admit, my memory is not really that good, I don't remember, but all the details. But I think it was Zeldathon Recovery, which would have been the summer of 2016,
Yep.
I believe, which was back in that cavernous hall at the other hotel that we had. And I think, if I recall rightly, it was just me playing accordion and then being on the couch or whatever, just playing and not stopping. I may have said something like, chatters, request tunes, write a song you want to hear, and I'll just go for it. Honestly, I don't remember. Maybe a loyal viewer can say it better than I can, but I think it just went from that into let's do it on the challenge cam area and have a bunch of people there. I do remember that we did have a nice sing-along event in the food room at that same recovery event, and the food room was like this nice little bar kind of restaurant area. It was like it wasn't just like a bonus room at a hotel. It was kind of a nice little spot. And I remember we were doing Bohemian Rhapsody, and I think I was playing piano for that, and it's just a bunch of people just wailing out and singing, and maybe the idea was just, let's bring that on camera. And then at a certain point, when we got to the current venue, or the most recent venue, we do it on the challenge cam, and then have every musician there, or anyone who wants to be a part, they can sit in there, have the folks seated, and be our choir when a big chorus is going to come in, and of course have it all by donation requests. The way that the donation requests come in has changed a bit. I think the earliest one was like Jim writing it on like a whiteboard and then just running from the donation station, write down the songs, come over to where I am, hold it up like the Sorrow and Metal Gear Solid 3, and then just says like one of these, and I just have to look, and then like the poor guy has to run back and forth. Thank God we found something a little bit better than that. But
the behind the scenes video, it's really cool, and it shows you just the amount of work that goes into that, because I feel like a lot of people think it's just the musicians putting it on, but no, the amount of tech that goes into that, and people like Jyggy too, like just setting up lighting and everything for us beforehand. Like, I think every time we start Jam Train, like we meet about 2 hours beforehand and start getting everything set up. And then, of course, like running audio for a live event, like that is next level. And
that is something
I can't thank enough the people. They got to set up the lighting and they got to set up the chairs for us, make sure that we're seated in a good spot. They have 2 camera operators. I think MC is usually on one, and maybe Jyggy or somebody else is on the other. 2 camera operators moving around. Someone's got to be on the tech desk. Someone who really knows their audio has got to be on the audio. Someone like Evan or Bassoonify or whoever. I think it was Grant. I don't know. I think it was Grant who actually like wrote, I don't know what it is, a program or a script or some system of channeling the donation messages to a screen in front of me that's controllable by me. So a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, and I can't thank them all enough for helping make that show go on. But yeah, a lot of people.
I think that's the thing that makes Zeldathon events so effective too, is that you have so many different people with so many different skill sets all coming together and just fueling each other off of dumb ideas and everyone getting hyped up. And then you see how far it grows, like from just one guy on a couch with an accordion to like a whole, honestly, ragtag orchestra ensemble of people thrown together in like a big band style, and the amount of production that goes into it too. It's like kind of nuts and kind of amazing, but you don't really see it anywhere else. And I think that's what draws all of us to it.
I always say
it's a fun unique event. I don't think for any of us has what do I say this? I never had any kind of experience like doing the Jam Train, and I think probably most folks can say the same thing. It's a uniquely challenging event. It's like you can do some things to prepare for that, learn a lot of tunes and work on your ear and whatnot. But it's like when you get out there, it's like the arena. It's like it's you with the lions or whatever, and you gotta kill to survive. It's
rigorous too. Like it's 2 hours long of playing.
Yeah,
it
that
is,
was
isn't it? That's why I switched. That's why I switched to piano partially. Playing accordion for that long
That
is
was
murder.
my next question was for Jackson and for Monica was the Jam Train has gone on for so long, and it's been at many marathons. I always call it the Twitch's biggest exclamation point SR. It's one of those things where I wanted to know what you guys do to prepare for something like that when we have songs that range from Play Lady Gaga to go into Dire Dire Docks from Mario. I really wanted to know what that preparation was, because like Jackson just said, not everybody knows those songs.
Honestly, like, it comes a lot down to your ear. Just in terms of me, I admit there's so many video game tunes that I don't know and I'm not familiar with, and I'll find like I'm playing along and have literally no idea what I'm playing, but I know like how to kind of hide in just common tones and like hold a long note and not be completely out of tune or completely off or getting in the way with a melody that's not really what the tune is. And then honestly, a lot of it is us communicating with each other on the fly, just through looking at each other and figuring out, hey, who's taking the tune right now, like what's going on, what do we need to do, how can we add. And sometimes you can add by just playing quieter or dropping out to feature someone else, like if there's a fun automaton gimmick going on or something of that sort.
The communication, unfortunately, I think is often me yelling or gesturing in a rather rude way, which I'm not very proud of. But
Hey, it works though, it gets the job done.
one thing I remember really consciously doing, especially at the last one where we had Danny joining us, I think for the first time, is I really wanted to show off, and it's like the same way that you would like to show off like a fine piece of jewelry, like display a new person or a new person's ability or a new person's talent, and Danny's a natural performer. Like some people are more shy or whatnot. Danny doesn't have that, and so he was more than willing to step up and do bone stuff and do stuff on the theremin. And so an important thing for me was to show off that and to put his talent in the light so people can see what he's all about. And so I'm very proud of that.
Well, thank you guys so much for talking about the different events that we do at Zeldathon. Guys, if you have any questions, put them in the question thing now, exclamation point ask. And just to let you all know that we're gonna do Q&A right now, but just to let you all know, we have a brand new Zeldathon event coming on June 5th called Zeldathon Sidequest. As you all know, with the COVID pandemic that is happening right now, we all want to still do a Zeldathon, but unfortunately we all can't be together. We're all social distancing and being apart, but we will do our best to put on an amazing show starting June 5th here at Super MC Gamer Channel and also at Zeldathon.net. There's amazing stuff that is in the works for that. Different events and different games that are going to be playing. People that you might have never seen at a Zeldathon are doing segments. It's going to be really fun, and I really hope that you guys are looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Pop Tart Gamer, Monica, and Jackson for being here tonight. I really enjoyed talking to you.
You called me
Well,
Pop Tart Gamer.
I read your ad. This is for Spotify. We're on Spotify, Eric. You don't even know. We're on Spotify.
Just call me by my name.
You all should go
dude.
follow
Okay.
at Pop Tart Gamer on Twitter, at omgitsmonika, and at Jackson Parodi. My name is Jyggy, and I am a person. That's it. That's all I am.
Eric's getting the right idea. Eric is going to be almost on the same page as me and Inca. Do the first and Monica. Do the first name, last name. That's the only acceptable online tag handle thing. First name, last name. There's no need to be cute with it. So Jyggy, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you'll get it together and you'll say this Jyggy thing has run its course, and you need to grow into who you really are.
Monica's first name is actually OMG.
No, her first name is Monica, so she's halfway. She's halfway there.
Exclamation point! Ask if you have any questions here. If you don't already follow us on our social media, it's right over here. You can go and check that out. For all you people on the Spotify, it's at Zeldathons on Twitter, Zeldathon on Facebook, Zeldathon on YouTube, and Zeldathon on Zeldathon on Instagram.
Did you get that?
Anyway.
Make sure you type burp into your URL
The next
address bar.
Zeldathon show is on May 17th at 3 p.m. It's more European friendly. All right, let's check out some questions that we have from the audience. The first question that I'm going to say is just a general one for everybody. Is what is your favorite Zelda character? So why don't we start with Eric?
Oh boy, why'd you come to me,
start with
dude?
Monica.
I don't know. Well, hold on, let me look at my. Oh, I think it's Leto. Is there Leto or Leto? I don't know how to pronounce it. He is in Breath of the Wild. He's in the Zora area, right? And all he does is count to 10 when you give him like, what is it, the diamonds or something like that? I haven't played Breath of the Wild since it came.
I don't know. You'd have to ask
Linebacker.
He's 100% that game.
Smoople.
I don't play Zelda games, but there's an R-wing in Ocarina of Time, so I'll say the R-wing in Ocarina of Time.
You could say Mario in Ocarina of Time too. That one's pretty.
Oh God.
Jyggy, who's
Me?
your favorite?
My favorite character is I'm a big fan of Spear Boy from The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Spear Boy. I like him.
Nobody knows anybody's name in this call.
B-Guy is really great in A Link Between Worlds. What about you, Monica?
Oh, linebacker,
Good old
hands
linebacker.
down, forever.
Linebacker. All right.
Linebacker original, not linebacker
okay.
third.
So another one here is what this one's kind of general too is what's your favorite game of all time? This one's kind of hard for me, but we want to start with Jackson. Maybe you have a favorite game of all time.
Right now, I think my favorite, historically, it might be Final Fantasy
Final
X.
Fantasy
I think.
X?
Actually, no. Wait, no. Wait, no. Let me make folks mad. Final Fantasy X 2. Okay, that's the answer. Monica, what about you?
Honestly, favorite game of all time, I'd say maybe Left 4 Dead 2. It's like it brings people together.
Respect.
Not
I played
Overwatch?
recently.
God.
Left 4 Dead 2, more so than Overwatch, because you have different modes. You can do more ridiculous stuff. You have all the mods. You can find the anime server. Oh man, endless
Eric,
fun.
what do you think? What are you thinking?
Yes.
Fill me in.
I don't know, dude. You think I play video games anymore? I'm a boomer. I'm too old now, but I know. As a kid, I used to play a lot of point-and-click adventure games like Pajama Sam and Spy Fox and stuff. So those games have always held a special spot. Same with Counter-Strike, because that's like my most played game on Steam still. So I don't know. Yeah, one of those two. We'll just go with
My
that.
favorite game is Super Mario Sunshine. That's
Also
my
respect.
favorite game of all time. It's amazing. Okay, so let's get into a few of these actual questions, less general questions. What is your favorite ZCW character? I'll leave Jackson to last because I don't know if he could pick, but my favorite is the Loan Shark. I love the Loan Shark.
Same, hands down. Oh my God. Lone Shark is amazing. Everything.
Eric?
Can I just say myself? Is that like?
Yeah, you can absolutely
Yes, you
say
can.
it.
Okay, cool. Me, I'm my favorite because I can't remember anybody else's name. So other than like Pepsi Dan was pretty pog.
Really pog.
But that's all I remember. The Chef
Yeah,
of
that's a
Death,
good
was
one.
that one of them?
Yeah,
That was also super pog. They were all really good, honestly.
Monica?
Oh, wait, Angry Biker Bacon. That's it. Thank you, Smoopa. That's it, dude. That's it. I love Angry Biker Bacon.
I think for me it's Lone Shark as well, honestly. Or I really did love Trina as the librarian, and she like kind of just randomly screamed at one point, and it caught a lot of people off guard. Yeah, that was. on it. But like you said, all of them are amazing. Like it's just fun to see everyone take a crazy zany idea and just run with it, and then bring different elements of that into like how they're portraying that character too.
Yeah, as I said before, I cannot be too grateful to all the folks who dedicated and were enthusiastic about that. I really can't. The librarian was tremendous. The loan shark. I think I have to go with Chef Death because I think she's maybe the only one who had like who has an actual like martial arts background. So I made sure that me and Clinkett had the opportunity to show off some skills, and I think I got a concussion because of it, but it was all worth it.
Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Exclamation point ask if you want to put more questions in the chat. Most memorable Zeldathon competition. There's a couple of competitions, but I think my favorite has to be the balloon race from the Jygolympic Games, just because of how silly people looked on camera with these massive balloons between their thighs.
God.
It was a lot harder when you're actually doing it. Yeah, that was
Wait, you were
that was
in
a
it,
struggle.
Eric. Wait, were you in it too, Monica?
I was truly terrible at that. I don't know, I'm torn because like obviously Jygolympics is amazing for competitions, but I'm torn between the water bottle flip and AJ's legendary pop off once he got it.
Oh, that was
pretty
sick.
amazing. And then also I really had fun doing the 1-2 switch, like
You
just
dominated.
the reaction time, because like I was doing pretty well in that, and then I was dethroned by
Yeah,
Valor.
I remember that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember other competitions that weren't specifically like late night or Jygolympic. Eric, do you?
Oh my god.
I like I guess it was a competition, the like horse race that TB and K did back at Zeldathon Home. And then I did so at this last marathon for the legacy goal. Kay was of course not there, and I don't know where TB was, so it was Liz and I who did it. And once you're like doing it, you realize like you can like truly respect it because it was so painful on my knees, and I died afterwards, and you can't see in the mask, so there's a high likelihood that you're gonna crash into stuff. So,
In terms of competition, Tyler and us did I think it was like just Zeldathon trivia, and just all of us sitting there being completely clueless is pretty fun.
Jackson, do you have a favorite?
Honestly, I'm having a hard time thinking unless maybe you count Jackson versus Pepsi Dan for the ZCW title.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't know. Well, actually, I guess I can ask you this. You can feel free to spoil or not, but do you have predetermined winners for that? Silence. Okay. No comment.
No comment.
Well, yeah, no. Well, I've never won anything. I don't think I've ever. Have I won any ZCW thing? No, I don't think so, and I think that's by design. For one, it really doesn't matter anyway. So if it doesn't matter, then I'll be the one losing. But also it's probably more difficult to be a bad character than a good character, and I have the most experience in that. I watch it, so yeah. The winners are predetermined, and the only predetermination is that I'm not a winner. Everybody else is the winner.
That's good. Okay, so we just got a new one. This is actually really good. The most wholesome couch partner and why? Like, if you guys have been on the couch.
I know what I would answer.
Plunger.
Mine is from my run at Zeldathon Champions, where I played Majora's Mask 3D. I think that was like my favorite run of all time on Zeldathon. Because of my couch, I had Smoople, Stuart, and Lena, and then a bunch of other people jumping on a bunch of the time. And like because of them, they just like kept me sane. Shouts to Smoople, shouts to Stuart, shouts to Lena. So They like got me McDonald's at one point. It was like,
Oh,
and I like chowed down in 1 minute on stream, like 2 McChickens and a large fry.
For me, I think because everyone knows me when it comes to the couch. I'm very obnoxious. But I think for me, the most wholesome person I ever had on it was Gymnast. I think Gymnast was on my couch. It was one of like his first experiences at Zeldathon, and I don't know if it was wholesome or if he was just terrified, but either one of them. But Monica, you have anybody?
for me, it's a tie. Honestly, I love having a ton of people in, so like I never really specify people when we submit our runner forms for who you want on couch. I just say, hey, if you want to show up, be really happy to have anyone want to hang out while I'm playing a game. But I think hipster, honestly, just because of the amount of games that we've shared and like run together too, and then we're always there. Kind of like whenever madness is going on, we're talking to each other about the game and like just laughing at random dumb things together. And then also shoutouts to Choco too, because the first time that I was running a
Choco.
game on my own, it was ages, and it was I think like my third marathon, and like I was more nervous to run a game at Zeldathon than I ever was to have like a solo violin performance. Like my hands were shaking beforehand, and I like couldn't even tape up the coffee cup. And yeah, he was great for just I don't know, kind of calming me down and making me not so nervous.
Hipster Harbor is hands down one of the funniest Zeldathon team members. As in like gut busting humor, on or off camera. That fella is a riot.
Speaking of wholesomeness, Monica actually won an award for the most wholesome person. But notice how I did not say that Monica was the most wholesome person, because not only did she pull a gun on me, not a real one, during the ceremony, but also would constantly cover me in freaking what is it, Purell to sanitize me, and Jackson started that one. So no wholesome for you.
I said it should have gone to AJ. I stood by
Anyway,
that.
this I guess this one's just for me. We'll go speed round here. What's it like producing a show called like Late Night with Jyggy? It's extremely stressful. There's a lot of people. It's a lot of relying on people to get the stuff done. It's a lot of me. You can ask MC. MC will actually, he said this to me, so I don't feel bad. MC will actually schedule my events early on in the marathon, because he knows that I will not relax until it's over. So it's usually very stressful. But I do it all for the fun, and it's always worth it. It's never not worth it.
What you all don't see is that like for the entire marathon before that with Jyggy, the only place you'll find Jyggy if he's not on camera is right outside the stream door. He has like a little like desk workstation area on his laptop, just constantly like in Adobe Premiere or Photoshop or making graphics and videos and junk, all for Late Night with Jyggy.
Yeah,
it's his little office corner.
Huh?
I've seen people don't see it, and everyone jokes about Jyggy, but Jyggy is honestly one of the most hardworking people I've ever seen at the marathon. Like it's just next level, just putting off sleep just in order to like crunch and like get things done and try to make it as enjoyable as possible for people to
thank
view.
you.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I'm like so willing to like be like, okay, I'm just gonna improv all this and just like help out where I can, because I can tell that you're just super stressed each time, Jyggy, and you're like, oh my god, okay, these people left to go eat right now. Oh my god, but I need them here right now, and I need to film this thing. Okay, we're gonna have to do this, and then you like constantly have to adapt to everybody else's schedules and what they're doing at the marathon to try to put your show together. And it's a lot of work.
It definitely is, and I appreciate everybody that's willing to be a part of it, because something that people don't realize is that when we go to Zeldathon, we go to raise money for charity. Obviously, there's also friend time, and it's somewhat hard to in my mind to kind of always like say, hey, can you do this, and this for me, when it could also be putting off their friend time or something like that. So I always appreciate everybody giving up their time to help me with some stupid endeavor, whether it be, hey, Eric, let's film Dr. Phil, or
Let's go to the
let's
beach
go-
and smash
let's go
apples
Smash
for like
apples.
an hour.
Drive my car. No, drive my dad's car and like crush an apple.
His
Yeah,
Philadelphia Eagles car.
All right. I'd say let's do one or two more. I'm gonna skip the last one because.
Hold on, please, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'm almost done.
Mom, I'm playing Minecraft.
Mom, I'm talking to my friends.
Oh,
I warned her too. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be on the computer for a while. Like, I'll come out when I'm done. But yeah.
Mom, pick up the phone. Don't use
I'm
the
playing
phone. I'm
my-
talking to my friends.
all right. Final question here. Is very simple. It's a classic one. Everybody knows it here. But what is your favorite Zelda item? Like one of the items, the Zelda items.
Wooden sword from TP.
Wooden sword from TP.
I have to forever say that because it's Zeldathon Champions when Stuart and I played Newlyweds, and we were talking about what some of the questions might be. I said my favorite item's wooden sword, by the way. He's like, okay.
Somebody, are these real questions? Did people actually ask these questions, or did you just are these
No,
like
these are
boilerplate
questions
things that you
people
made up?
ask.
No, I'm looking at the document. These are real.
I can't imagine
these
anybody would
questions.
ask that question. Who would ask? Who would ask that?
RC.
Raise your
our
hand.
RCT.
Have some courage. Who?
Anyway. But yeah. So I think my favorite item is the oh my gosh, I don't even know. The fire rod. I like the fire rod just because I like fire and I have red hair. It's a problem. Yeah.
Crazy. Wow.
So frustrated with my mom coming, but probably maybe long shot's a good item.
Oh, you said the long shot. Yeah.
Nehru's crack pipe.
And with that, everybody, thank you so much to everybody here once again. My name is Jyggy. You can follow me on Twitter at Jyggy11. And we got Pop Tart Gamer here. Thank you. omgitsmonika, Jackson Parodi. Make sure you follow Zeldathon on these social medias here at Twitter, Zeldathons, Facebook, Zeldathon, YouTube, Zeldathon, Instagram, Zeldathon Sidequest. Zeldathon Sidequest is the June 5th. It's going to be super, super fun. Hopefully, I will see you guys in the chat. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching the Zeldathon Show. We'll be back next week, or I'm sorry, May 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern, more European-friendly stream. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to continue, this is my dumb self-promo thing here. Sorry. If you want to continue, yeah, I know it's boo. But if you want to play some Minecraft like Monica, you can come on over to my stream. I'm going to be live streaming right now on the server that you guys can come on all in. And
Okay. All right.
all right.
All
Thank you
right,
very
bud.
much for. All right.
Twitch Prime.
Thank
Twitch
you guys
Prime.
so much for watching.
We get it.
Huh?
Thank
What-
you for
what?
hosting.
Yeah. No, thank you guys so
hosting.
much for
And
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Yes.
And have a good night. I really appreciate you coming. All right. Bye-bye.
Happy Mother's Day, you mother.
I need to go spend time with the mother now. Later, guys.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Take care, people.